Netflix's Title IX sexual violence risk and alleged Korean public funds fraud investigation. In this breaking investigation, we've uncovered disturbing connections between two major issues at Dongguk University in Seoul: alleged public funds fraud and sexual violence cover-ups, and how these issues create significant risks for Netflix's $2.5 billion Korean content investment. The investigation findings. Our investigation into Dongguk University's Graduate School of Digital Media and Contents revealed a pattern of serious institutional failures enabling sexual violence. These failures extend beyond campus safety to allegedly fraudulent misrepresentation of international partnerships by Dongguk University. When we contacted North American universities listed as partners on Dongguk University's website, at least one Canadian university officially denied any partnership relationship. This is significant because Dongguk claims 381 university partnerships, and Korean universities receive government funding based partly on these international connections. If even one partnership is fabricated, this raises serious questions about alleged taxpayer fraud by Dongguk University across their entire partnership network. Sexual violence statistics. The Korean Women's Development Institute's 2020 research paper reports alarming statistics about sexual violence in Korean higher education. First, 61.5% of female art students experience sexual violence across Korean universities. Second, film departments score highest on the risk index at 81 out of 100. Third, 60% of campus sexual violence is perpetrated by professors across all disciplines. Fourth, in high-risk programs like Dongguk University's film program, our analysis suggests this percentage could approach 90 to 100%. Research from the KWDI shows the highest risk settings are drinking events at 30% and private meetings with professors at 20%. Both are standard practices across Korean university film departments. Netflix's $2.5 billion problem. Netflix has committed $2.5 billion to Korean content production over 4 years. What they may not realize is that Korean production companies, including those with ties to Dongguk University, have connections to university film programs through various channels: production partnerships, internship pipelines, guest lectures, student project collaborations, shared facilities and resources. This creates significant Title IX exposure for Netflix through these content partners tied to institutions like Dongguk University, where female students lack protections against sexual violence. Title IX liability risk. Under Title IX regulations, American educational institutions must address sexual harassment and sexual violence. While Netflix isn't directly subject to Title IX, their partnerships with companies connected to Dongguk University create potential legal and reputational risks. First, partner agreements likely contain morals clauses and reputational risk provisions. Second, standard contract language would prohibit association with entities involved in sexual violence or its cover-up. Third, once aware of sexual violence at Dongguk University, Netflix has an ethical obligation to conduct due diligence. Fourth, investors increasingly expect ESG compliance, including prevention of indirect harm through partnerships. Paradoxical research finding. Recent PubMed research reveals that higher education makes women more likely to experience sexual violence in the Korean film industry, not less. This counters traditional assumptions about education as a protective factor and highlights the danger at institutions like Dongguk University. Institutional failures at Dongguk University. Dongguk University's film program exhibits multiple red flags enabling sexual violence. First, deliberate gender imbalance in faculty. The English website shows no female professors. Second, dismantling of the Women's Student Council during Korea's Me Too movement, eliminating a key reporting pathway for sexual violence. Third, no transparent sexual violence reporting mechanisms. Fourth, use of private email accounts for faculty communications, bypassing institutional oversight and creating conditions where sexual violence can occur without accountability. Compliance measures Netflix should consider. To address sexual violence risks in its Korean partnerships, Netflix should: First, audit all Korean content partners for university affiliations, especially with Dongguk University. 2. Implement partner screening protocols specifically addressing sexual violence prevention. 3. Require disclosure of university connections in all production agreements. 4. Consider independent monitoring of production environments. 5. Support industry-wide reforms to address sexual violence in the Korean film industry. Broader implications. The sexual violence crisis at Dongguk University has implications beyond individual cases. First, it could trigger termination of international university partnerships. Second, it damages Korea's cultural export reputation. Consequently, it threatens Korea's goal to attract 300,000 foreign students by 2027. Fourth, it exposes audiences worldwide to content produced in environments where sexual violence is enabled and concealed. The combination of alleged public funds fraud and sexual violence at Dongguk University creates a perfect storm for both educational institutions and content platforms like Netflix that rely on Korean creative talent. Our investigation reveals urgent action is needed to address sexual violence in Korean film education, especially at Dongguk University, and protect both students and the integrity of global content partnerships. For the complete investigation report on sexual violence and alleged fraud at Dongguk University, please read the full blog post linked in the comments section below. If you found this information valuable, please like this video and feel free to share it with others who might be concerned about these issues. Your support helps us continue our investigative work and raise awareness about these important topics.